My name is Murray Capstick. I've been a resident of Valemount for 17 years. I've got 40 years experience in municipal government, 37 of those as a municipal employee. The last 3 years as a councillor for the village of Valemount. I've worked very closely with many government agencies, federal, provincial, regional, and municipal. I commit myself to providing direction and leadership in the implementation of comprehensive economic development strategy. I'll work toward a strong level of regional cooperation that is essential to effective growth and job creation. Thank you.
Andrew McCracken.
Thanks.
I should shake your hand.
Oh, you're going to shake my hand? Okay.
I should have been doing that before.
That's a good sign. My name's Andrew McCracken. I moved here in 2001. Let's get this thing together here. My name's Andrew McCracken. I moved here in 2001, and in 2002, I started the Robson Valley Times. I started it with my wife, Rashmi, my wife at the time. We worked hard to build a life here. It wasn't easy, but Rashmi and I knew that there was a call for a newspaper that cared, and we listened. We developed a knack for listening. So you guys remember when the government told us that forestry needed to change, when the provincial government said, hey, things have got to change, we need a radical revamp of the way the forest industry works. Basically what they were saying, and we heard them. We listened and we heard what they were saying is, forestry is going to change and it's going to be the end of small towns like yours. We've experienced that and we've gotten onto the other side of that. That's where we are now. Forestry has changed radically. So Valemount's in a really tough place. We've lost that main industry and it's not coming back. But we've got a lot here. We've got a community forest. We've got specialty mills that are working now. We've got a ton of great people here who are committed to making this town a fantastic place to be. They're committed to growing their businesses here. Anybody who runs a business in this town knows that to run a business in Valemount, you're not working 40 hours a week. 40 is just the start. That's what I did with the Robson Valley Times, and that's what I intend to do as mayor of Valemount if you would consider me for election. My name's Andrew McCracken. I hope you'll consider voting for me. I'm going to try to squeeze in a few more things at the end.
Good words. Cynthia Piper, who has a broken arm.
Not shake your hand.
I'm a little slow. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen and fellow candidates. My name is Cynthia Piper, and I'm running for mayor for the village of Valemount. I arrived in Valemount in May of 1980 with my husband Jerry and two of our children, Ben and Di. We had bought our business, Swift Creek Holdings Limited, and we're looking forward to being residents of this beautiful village. We grew both our business and family with the arrival of Sam. Over the years, I have participated in some of the local clubs, the Lioness, of which I was president and treasurer with 11 years of perfect attendance, the Curling Club, and I have been a 22-year member of the Royal Canadian Legion. I have been a substitute teacher at both the elementary and high school levels, not that my children really...
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Not that my children really liked that. I worked at the Legion also for 13 years, and at present I work for the government liquor store and Canada Post, both being part-time positions. For the past 6 years, or 2 terms, I have been a councillor for the village of Valemount. I have worked hard for the village in the capacity of president of the community forest, board member of VARDA, a board member for the Canoe Valley Recreation Committee, a board member of the Wildfire Protection Prevention Planning Committee, vice chair of PGTAC, which is Prince George Treaty Advisory Committee, a member of the Valemount Ski Society, which has just begun, and many, many other duties such as public works and accounts payable. If I am elected, I will bring my 6 years of experience in the councillor role to the mayor role. I will work hard and with both our government and federal governments to bring industry and more tourism to our valley. I will work hard to encourage investment and recreational opportunities for our village, also to get reliable sources of power, which is extremely important to this valley and which will encourage more industry to come. Oh, okay, I'll do the rest later.
Our last candidate this evening is Jeanette Townsend.
Thank you, Pat.
Madam Moderator,
Candidates, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the Chamber of Commerce, Laura from the Rocky Mountain Coach, and the Toastmasters for organizing this forum. My family moved here 25 years ago. There were prosperous times and tough times. As a community, we enjoyed the prosperity and together survived and remedied the tough times. I have never seen the economic and social condition as critical, though, as it is today. I was asked repeatedly over the last year to seek another term as mayor to help to restore stability. I enjoy my freedom and I love my traveling. I refused, reconsidered, and on October 4th, after one particular phone call, I agreed to put my name forward for one full term for just such a time as this. The time for rhetoric is over. It is time for action, for hard work and passionate dedication to restore stability. We know what we need. How do we get there? What are the market demands out there, the needs that we might meet here? How do we attract more entrepreneurs? Has anybody other than our Member of Parliament seriously initiated economic roundtables? Why not? Where is the passion? I was invited to a major announcement in Prince George, July 19, 2010. A senior cabinet minister said to me, "We don't hear anything about Valemount anymore." Why not? Why did active promotion stop? I want to see passionate care for Valemount's well-being. In times of crisis, nothing takes the place of experience and a proven track record of strong leadership, vision, success, and a reputation for getting things done. I commit to hard work and to invest my time to restore stability to our town. I respectfully ask for your support on November 19th. Thank you.
we'll now go to our councillors' candidates. And the first one is Holly Blanchette.
Good evening. I'm here to represent good, practical common sense. I'm running for council because I love Valemount, and I want to be involved in the positive growth that is coming here. I want to be part of the team that's going to be working for Valemount. Some issues that are important to me are sustainable employment, filling the schools with more children, in turn bringing more families to the community, seeing businesses, the business core grow and expand. You as a community have been bringing your issues to council. You've been active in presenting council with alternatives and possibilities for our future. From what I understand, you want a council that will listen. I know you're frustrated and feel like you're not being heard. I'm here to listen and to act on those issues. Why should you vote for me? For all those who know me through the committees I'm on, you know when I say I will do something, I do it. I'm a hard worker, I'm practical, level-headed, open, honest, and accountable. I take pride in getting things done. Change is coming to Valemount, and it's inevitable, and without it, we never move forward. I want to be part of putting Valemount back on the map, and I want all of us to be involved in making Valemount the next success story. So let's get moving. Thank you.
Dallas Bullock. On this side.
Hi there, I'm Dallas Bullock and I'm running for Town Council. I've spent about 8 years around Valemount and the Robson Valley, both working and for recreation, before choosing to live here and have a family. We love it and see nothing but potential. I come from a background in small business after running my own landscaping company for 8 years, and sit as the Vice President of the Robson Valley Growers Co-op. We farm mostly vegetables, and my husband works in forestry. We welcomed our daughter Violet this June. I have found throughout my campaign that people's greatest concern is that I live outside of town limits in Tijon. The reality is that Valemount has an unrepresented population who participates in town services such as shopping, healthcare, schools, restaurants, and socially. I feel community participation can come from anywhere, and I'm hoping that your concern not be where my house is, but what I'm actively doing in helping to create a vibrant Valemount. I believe that Valemount and its greater areas have all the resources necessary to create a prosperous lifestyle for those choosing to live here. But hard work is inevitable, and it is the job of your council to get creative and collaborate with you, the community, to make a strategic plan to move forward without fear of failure. We need to ensure that there is a viable business climate that will attract more than a one-statement industry. No one doubts that a big industry would be magical for the town's economy, but in the meantime, we need to start small and sustainable, focusing on what we already have. We can encourage the entrepreneurial spirit, recognize local recreational opportunity that can further tourism while exploring technology-based businesses, energy, and food source opportunities. Thank you.
John Grogan.
Thank you, Pat. Good evening, everyone. My name's John Grogan. You won't see my flyers on the back table, but I have some with me. I've made a personal commitment to hand deliver one to every household in Valemount. And so if you're planning on voting on Wednesday, and I haven't delivered one yet, perhaps you'll want to see me after the meeting. I'd be happy to hand one to you. I see election signs out there, and you know, democracy is more than just election signs. So I'm going to plant a seed in your head. Whenever you see an election sign out there, think of me, because you're not going to see a sign out there from me. Now, prior to 1987, there was an election in British Columbia, a municipal election every year. Councillors were elected for a 2-year term. And what that did is it gave us an opportunity to voice what's important to us. This 3-year term there's some real inherent problems with it. For one, there's not necessarily any continuity. If the people are tired of the council at hand, they throw out the whole bunch and start with another one. If there's an election every year, half of council and mayor, there's alternate change of people. It keeps everybody on their toes. Now, public consultation is probably the reason I'm here. I've been attending council meetings for years and years. I've never been invited to participate in a committee of council. And I really find that to be harmful to democracy. The same individuals appear to be on many committees of council, and we're losing an opportunity for I'll finish later, thank you.
Got a tough timer down there. Christine Lattimore.
Thank you all for coming. I'm Christine Latimer, and I'm the General Manager of the Best Western here in Valemount. I've been here for 9 years, and I've been actively involved in a lot of boards, I guess you could say. And I kind of know what the left hand is doing with the right hand, somewhat. And I think from being involved with all the different boards that I have been, that I do see the challenges that everybody is facing. Christy Clark just announced last week that there's a 5-year strategic plan for the tourism industry. And I'm not sure if any of you knew that. But it includes BC being the #1 destination for skiing. So our proposed projects in the skiing industry would definitely fit right into that strategic plan, and there is funding available for it. I think being on the VARDA Board of Directors is very important to our community. And being on the TOTA Board of Directors, which is the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association, which envelops the whole corridor from here all the way down to Soyuz. And I am on that board, and I'm on the finance committee of that board too. And there's millions of dollars to be spent from TOTA, and I think that we can use some of that money. So my mandate is to bring tourism to the top of our destination, and I hope you vote for me on November the 19th. Thank you.
Peter Reimer.
Good evening. Thank you for coming, taking the time this evening to come and listen and give yourselves congratulations if you can remember everything that you've heard after tonight is over. Thank you to the Valemount Chamber of Commerce, to Toastmasters, Valemount, and to the Rocky Mountain Coach for taking the time to organize this venue. And we appreciate that. I've successfully owned and managed Underwriters Insurance in Valemount for the past 22 years, formerly known as Reimer Insurance Agencies. And I've been a notary in the community for the last 18 years. And I believe that the skills and the education and the qualifications to manage and run those two businesses successfully in this community are transferable to successfully doing the work that's required as counselor for this community. And that's why I've chosen to allow you to make a choice to see whether I would be able to serve you in this capacity for the next 3 years. And I want to stress that it's service to the community. It's not what my ideas are, it's what is good for all of us together. Because all of us together, I am sure, want the same thing when it comes right down to it. We all want to say that we live in a community that we can be proud to live in, a community that is prosperous, a community that is forward-thinking, a community that is not going backwards, a community that is clean, inviting, friendly, hospitable, and open for business. And however we measure success, I am sure that all of us want to say we live and work in a successful community.
Sandy Salt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you and my fellow candidates for taking an interest in the 2011 local government elections and attending this All Candidates Forum. My name is Sandy Salt. Some of you may already know me, and some of you may not. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. Over 5 years ago, on June 1st, 2006, my husband and I relocated to Valemount to the bare piece of land we had purchased in October of 2004. From June 2006 to April 2007, I worked tirelessly alongside my husband while we self-built our home with the assistance of some local contractors. From April 2007 to September 30th of this year, I had worked for the Village of Valemount as a senior administrative staff member, first as the Deputy Director of Corporate Services, then as the Corporate Officer. In both of these positions, my primary responsibilities, powers, and duties and functions have been those as outlined under Section 148, Corporate Officer of the Community Charter, and in the Village of Valemount Officers and Employees Bylaw number 653, 2010. Working very closely with and for our council and the Chief Administrative Officer, I have very solid knowledge, understanding, and experience of council proceedings and the internal administrative policies and procedures. This, combined with my previous extensive 29 years of business administration and accounting experience, along with my related educational background, positive attitude, excellent public relations skills, strong communication abilities, work ethics, morals, values, and effective problem-solving strategies I feel would be desirable assets as a counselor. All credentials aside, my husband and I took a huge leap of faith and risked everything moving here to go after our dream of living in the mountains. We had a bare piece of land with no power, water well, septic system, or house. Almost everything we owned was stored in a 72-foot semi-trailer and a mini storage container. We could have moved anywhere, but we chose Valemount because we love it and could see the amazing potential here. I'm very passionate and care about this community, its future, and its citizens. Thank you.
Stuart Tate.
Oh boy. Okay, everybody's described me really well. Thank you. But I'm not here to make jokes. I've been through this valley many, many times from about 1974, and I fell in love with it then. I did my damnedest to get back here through my job with the liquor branch at the time. And I have worked in little things behind the scenes. I have had time to have coffee with a lot of people at either A&W or the various places. A lot of you are my age and older. I should be sitting out there and not up here, but a couple of my friends have said, come on, we sat together and we've talked for years together on what we could do for this valley. We've all run into crisis with taxation, and we've all complained. And I said, well, if you're going to complain, you might as well put your foot up there and, see why they're doing what they're doing. And part of the reason for me to do that is just to get up there, find out what goes on, what makes it tick. And you know what? Go and have coffee. My picture with the coffee mug demonstrates that, I'll sit down with anybody and we'll talk and find out what your grievances are, what's going on, what don't you like. I mean, there's a lot of things that in the last few years I didn't like. And again, that's what's put me here. People like my friends Peter and Murray, I've had many a coffee with them, and I expect to have coffee with a lot of other people out here. Names I've forgotten, faces I do remember, but it's nice. I've had a 10-year hiatus from doing things, just kind of minding my own business with a little big boat in the yard, and one day I will sail it away. But from now until then, I hope to do some work for you and get on council. Thanks.
Rita Tier.
Good evening, Chair, Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow candidates. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, Toastmasters, and Rocky Mountain Goat for hosting this evening's forum, and to you to taking the time to attend. Also, thank you to my nominators. For those who do not know me, I am Rita Tier, seeking re-election as councillor for our village. I feel being on council has many challenges and learning experiences. This is an ongoing process. My recent years on council fits this description. I would like to be your councillor again to represent you and our community, to contribute toward our economic situation in any possible way, and to continue to demonstrate commitment, dedication, and hard work, and to listen to what the citizens of Valemount needs and wants are. I will work hard and will complete any tasks assigned. Representation of all citizens of the community is important, irregardless of the issues. Ideas for the betterment of the community are welcomed. Teamwork is the key role in any municipal decisions. The pros and cons must be considered, Making tough decisions is not an easy task. We have to work together as a team on all projects undertaken. Communication skills are very important for productivity, as are relationships with seniors, youth, and all members of the community. I have watched our community grow over the years with a sense of pride and would like to continue to contribute to future decision making. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to have a question period, and we have a mic down here. So if you would like to come down to the mic and ask a question, that would be really helpful so that everybody can hear it. And you can line up if you want, and then you can direct the question to who you would like to direct it to. So, 1 minute. You have 30 seconds to ask the question, and the candidates have 1 minute to answer it. So if you're planning on asking a question, would you just, come down to the mic and maybe just sit down here close and...
This is a question to Andrew and to the other mayoral candidates, please. In the last few years, new public buildings like the high school and the info center with the village office have been built, and renewable energy sources are not part of the heating and cooling system, to the best of my knowledge. What will you do to make sure that renewable energy sources will be part of new public buildings and buildings that receive public funding for major renovations? Thank you.
I believe that there's currently a hot water heating system on the top of the roof. There's a solar heating system installed in the village council as it is. So that's one thing that has been incorporated on the interpretive center. It would be, I hope we have cause to build a lot of new buildings here. It would be really neat for renewable energy to be a part of it. If we can get if we can get renewable energy into public buildings, it'll lower heating costs and stuff. So it'd be an excellent way to go. Was that your question? Yeah. Yes.
You want to go next, Jeanette?
Sure. I'll be happy to go next. I think conservation, all renewable energy sources should be a part of new planning in all public buildings.
Yes, Andrew was right. There is a hot water booster solar heat on the roof, and we also have a solar backup panel for the internet, the local one we use here. Am I not right? I believe so. As far as any other hot water or power or anything, I believe if we could get this geothermal plant going down the lake, that would be a huge boost to our whole economy. And we wouldn't have to just worry about public buildings. It would be all of us would benefit from that. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have some buildings in town that do have some green heat, but there is a new project out there by the government that the government has put out, and it's green communities. And at the moment, we're in the planning stages of that because it's been a challenge that has been put out by the provincial government to all the communities to become green and power smart. One of the great sort of examples of this is Dawson Creek. They're becoming very green. Whistler also. So Valemount is in the midst right now of trying to put together a green initiative so we can get out and get our buildings more green. Okay.
Wendy, you have a question?
Hi, Mike. Okay. Actually, on Friday, there was just a press release that the Commerce Resources Mine at Blue River has passed the first economic feasibility study for underground mining, and it's moving to the next stage. So my question isn't really directed at anyone. It's to maybe the first 3 people who have some sort of plan, whether it's mayor or council candidates, for attracting the Commerce Resources to set up their offices and base of operations in Valemount as opposed to Clearwater?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Commerce Resources come to Blue River, and Blue River is a pretty small community. So there's opportunity to get the employees housed here. There's potentially an opportunity for them to set up their base here. I don't know what we can do for them, but we should definitely look into that. It'd be fantastic. I mean, the mine is going to happen in Blue River, but what are the things that we can bring here? I think the best way to answer that is to work with Commerce Resources as they go forward and see what we can do. One innovative idea I heard about was possibly giving them some office space. I mean, we've got a ton of office space in town. The building, the VCTV building where VCTV is now, has just been emptied of the Valemount Learning Center. They moved onto Fifth Ave, which is great, but it makes for a very lonely television station and community forest. It'd be great to have some people. It'd be great to have commerce there. That's a village-owned building, so the potential for cooperation there would be amazing. Yes.
The executive, as well as the engineers from Boston, Massachusetts, were here to meet with mayor, council, and senior staff, I think around 2001. And they were seeking, as a matter of fact, we all met at the Caribou Grill. Perhaps Patricia, Tony remembers that. There were, I think, at least 20 of us in total, if not more. And they were interested in what amenities Valemount would be able to provide for them once they started to get established. There should be a file at the village office somewhere.
Last summer, we were invited by Commerce Resources to go down and have a field trip with them. Councillor Rowe, myself, the mayor, and the chief administrator officer took them up on it. And they took us up in the mountain and showed us everything they had to show us, where the underground mine was going to be, and took us back down, showed us all the core samples, explained their business to us, their business plan to us, and assured us that we would be kept in full contact with them right through this whole process. Am I not right, Councillor Rowe? That's right. Thank you.
I believe some of the core samples are being tested in our local community right now. So it shouldn't be a far stretch, and there is a building, I believe, being constructed for that purpose. So it shouldn't be too far a stretch, and if the regional district representatives that were here tonight aren't going to make a substantial piece of the land that's outside of our immediate village boundaries available, perhaps they've invited cooperation, so we should be able to have that if we don't have room for it right here in our own village.
Oh, Cynthia's going to talk on too.
I would just like to suggest that we have spoken to them, or there have been people, and they were informed that the mill yard would be a very good place for them to open a shop, because they have the railhead there, they have the highway there, so which would work to what they're doing. So hopefully, as things progress, they will look into that more seriously and will come to the Valemount area and do their work.
Okay, we're going to go to other questions now. Has anybody else got a question? Dan?
I actually have a follow-up question to that. What I just heard is there's a lot of a 10-year-old meeting, and gee, that would be nice to meet with them, and they took us on a field trip. I know Clearwater is aggressively going after them and trying to get all of their base of operations out of Clearwater as a way of resurrecting what's going on in Clearwater. We're in direct competition for that mine with what's happening in Clearwater. Clearwater has the advantage of being closer to the Lower Mainland, closer to Kamloops. They're selling and aggressively going after that. So what I'm hearing so far from the responses is a passive response. I want to hear what your plan in the future is for active response to this. Thank you.
That's a good question, Dan. Active response means the village, Ken Starchuk gave the example of the fishbowl earlier in the night. You know, people come through here and see what a great place it is and set up shop. That hasn't worked. We're not a fishbowl. We're a community that's struggling, and we need to work together. I want to work full-time for the village. So that's like Robson Valley times VCTV full-time. That's 60 hours a week. And I know that Jeanette has put in that kind of time in the past, and I think that that's fantastic, and I think that's every bit of what we need. But the focus has changed slightly. It's not that we need infrastructure anymore. We've got infrastructure for double this town. That is what we need. We need industry here, and we've got to go out and get it. Fishbowl done. Let's start the work and get industry here.
Mr. Kinka, I've been in sales for 34 years of my life. Competition is what makes us better. And I believe we're better than Clearwater. And we can win, not by rhetoric, but by having the best product for them to be here. And I think that we have just as much of an opportunity to do that. And if we believe in ourselves that we have it and present it in that light, we have equal opportunity. And that's competition, and that's healthy, and that's what we're about.
Yes, John.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce a concept to you. You know, it's important that we go for the big partners, the sugar daddies of industry, and I'm not discounting that. Tourism has served us a certain amount. When forestry was falling apart, we talked about economic diversification. But there are other things that we have to consider, and some of them are just being self-reliant and having light industry. Now, I'm not discounting the concept. There's that sawmill out there that there's a good piece of real estate that there could be some processing of that material. But how do I say? We're competing with Clearwater. How are we going to move forward? I don't know. That's up to the community. Thank you.
I think the most important thing is that you're asking this question today, and I'm hoping that tomorrow night at the council meeting the question will be asked again, and then to ask the question again at the next council meeting, because persistence is the only way that we're ever going to attract anybody here, to make sure that they know that they are in our minds all the time, not just 10 years ago or last year, but just to pursue it over and over again. And if we don't get it this time, we have to try and try again.
I should like to ask the current members of council whether or not they have approached the executive of Commerce Resources for consideration of establishing anything here in Valemount. And if they haven't, then it should be started, and perhaps even a delegation put together combining some of the Chamber of Commerce members, and invite them.
So it looks like we have some other people would like to ask questions, so we'll go to another question.
Whoa, that's pretty loud. From my understanding, the responsibilities of mayor are well beyond the pay scale. I think there's a lot of time, behind the scenes time, that goes into fulfilling that position. So this question is to all the candidates for mayor. I'm wondering what kind of time commitment you can dedicate to this position, as well as your main motivation for wanting to represent us.
Let's start with Jeanette.
Okay. Thank you very much. I worked as an almost full-time mayor in years past, And I have committed earlier that I shall do so again to restore stability here, and as long as it takes are the hours that I shall put in. And my reason for running is to see that the stability here is restored.
Cynthia?
I know what kind of time it takes to be mayor from being on council for the past 6 years. It's a great deal of time that you dedicate to the village, and I'm prepared to do that. I will give up my jobs if necessary, my other jobs. I find it interesting and challenging, and you do learn a lot, and you want to make things far better for your village. So in regards to commerce resources, I just wanted to have a quick word on that. One of the things I think we have to get here fast and furious is reliable power. And then we can really go after the industry. But to bring in industry when you have power outages monthly, or it is a bit of a discouragement there. So I do think it's really very important to go after commerce resource, but firstly, let's get reliable power.
I like how the conversation is widening out, and I actually forget what the question was. The question was, what sort of time do you have to be mayor? I'm really interested in learning new things. I can actually say a little bit of my speech that I didn't get to do. When I started at the Robson Valley Times, I had never run a newspaper. I had worked for 6 months for Bill Mahoney, and then I started that. I liked that. That was fun. And I put everything I had into that for 4.5 years and built quite the newspaper that was an award-winning affair. You might remember the Robson Valley Times and some of the editorials that I laid on council at the time. And for those, I apologize. I never thought I'd be in this position. I take them all back. I took on VCTV, and I know VCTV is a bit of a poor puppy in our town, a dog that's, lots of people have satellite. Not everybody watches the TV, and I've worked a lot of hours on VCTV to make that thing shine, and people still don't tune in. So I'm leaving that, and I want to be mayor. No, what really it is I want to say that I've been working at TV for that long. I have to finish this. And I'll find a way to get back to this.
Back to the first part of the question, I'm retired, so I have lots of time to commit for this position. And I will, and I can promise all of you this, that I will represent the residents of Valemount honestly and with respect. Thank you.
I think that's all. Okay. Morris, you have a question.
I just want to say that it's really good to see all these fresh faces up on the platform. The question I have is, the people of the village are desperate for change. And I don't know that you people have really presented to us today how many of you actually want to go forward and in change and not just same old, same old.
I think everybody up here wants change, and that's for sure. We all just have different ways of going about it. I think it's hard work. I think it's youthful. I think what needs to happen is you people need to put a young team of people who are willing to work their fingers to the bone. Remember when you were our age, you worked your fingers to the bone, and that's what made this town. That's what makes towns. Put us to work, and we'll work hard for you.
We're in a time of extreme technical advancement with internet, and I really am for going after new technology. My husband is a prime example of having a successful business. He can do it anywhere in the world. He does it online. He has an online business. We could do it here, we could do it in Maui, we could do it in Mexico, we could go to Germany. So for us, it's definitely time to look forward to new technologies, new ways of doing things, and step outside of the box and try some different alternatives. Thank you.
I did mention in my opening remarks that we know what we need. And what we need, of course, is more employment and stability. And we need to find out, and I have contacts in Victoria with whom I have spoken, is what are the markets out there? What are the needs? What can we do to meet those needs? And I mentioned that in my remarks here. We know what we need. How do we get there? What are the market demands? Then the needs that we might meet with the product that can be developed and produced here. And so times are different. They're not what they were 20, 25 years ago. However, the ways to get there are still the same, and that is still, as far as I can see, getting the community together, having professional facilitation and an economic development strategy with a goal, plans to get there, and then telling the federal and provincial governments how they can help us.
Thank you. I want to introduce to you my Bible of Economic Development. It's After the Crash by Guy Dauncey. You should write it down. It's really important. He wrote it in 1988, and he said that there are a number of systems that any one of them could crash. So he mentions the first one is the banks. Bingo. He mentions the environment. He mentions finance, world finance. Let's look around the world here at what the heck is going on. People need to be engaged in the decisions that are being made. I believe that it's important that each of us has dreams and has a vision to carry us to the next step. And I think that without engaging that, we're going to have more of the same. Please, this is wonderful stuff. He talks about local currencies, the Let's dollars. You know, we missed an opportunity with Columbia Basin Trust. They wanted us to develop a $1 bill for local currency.
Okay, one more, and then Peter's got a question.
I can be your biggest facilitator for change on council just statistically on my age. My demographic is the demographic we need to bring into this town because it's what's going to keep town growing. If you take all the saplings out of the forest, you don't have a forest anymore. I think I have a great ideas about how we can do this. It's hard to talk about it in 30 seconds, but I'd be happy to on the street as we bang on doors this week. Thanks.